Look at them nice LED lights with the crazy body lines. This cutting edge technology right here. This is the Lucid Air. And today we're going to be looking at the Pure. You see it right there. Its Pure has 410 miles, 480 horsepower, 0 to 63.8 seconds. It's available in rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. But there's a few things that are kind of like drawbacks about the Air Pure compared to the other trims. We're going to get right into it. First off, when you get all of them, they always say what trim it is. So for example, this one, you'll see Pure in various spots. But the Pure is the least expensive Lucid today at a base price of $89.50, including delivery. All the Air versions start north of 6 figures, so this represents the entry level. Buyers of the entry level Pure can choose between rear or all-wheel drive and 19 or 20-inch wheels. The all-wheel drive version features a pair of motors good for 480 horsepower and 686 foot-pounds of torque, fitted with 20-inch aero light wheels. The dual-motor Air Pure can't quite match the acceleration of other Air models, but it's only gone from shockingly fast to surprisingly fast. For example, 3.5 seconds 0 to 60 versus 3 seconds for the touring model, and just 2.6 seconds for the 1,111 horsepower Dream Edition performance version. For a 4-seat sedan weighing the better part of 3 tons, any of those results are remarkable. Air Pure buyers should be plenty satisfied with their car's performance. Against the touring trim, that's the next step up in Lucid Air range, the Pure sacrifices the option of a glass roof, power opening and closing for the front trunk, cooled front seats, a leather-wrapped steering wheel, and heated front wipers. Its powered front seats plummets from 14 to 12 adjustments, and one size subtracts from the automatic climate control, down from 4 to 3. So not bad. Now, when I looked at the interior of the Frunk, I noticed that this is probably one of the biggest Frunks I've seen on an EV to date. When I looked at it, just a rough comparison, you could probably get about 2 grown men in fetal position fit in there. With everything I've said in the past, none of this presents a major sacrifice. Indeed, the only thing we really missed out is the glass roof found on the other Air models that I tested out. Though the low solid roof makes the low cabin darker and it feels subjectively closer and more confining, especially to larger occupants. No matter the size though, even front seat rider must learn to twist and duck into the seat to avoid whacking their heads on the very racked windshield pillar. All in all, any Lucid Air I've driven remains a joy to drive. Well balanced and composed, with sharp, sporty, responsive married to superb chassis tuning and damping that eliminates any extra oscillation. That makes this 4,951-pound car surprisingly easily to toss through corners if you choose, while it still remains restfully behind the wheel if you don't push it. Adding to the sense of luxury, it's a quiet exterior and interior made up of unusual fabrics that contribute to the sense of soothing calm. Lucid Design's SVP Derek Jenkins has described the Air as not a shouty car. Shouty being a British term that means calling attention to yourself, the Air is indeed quite on its outside. Though its low height, smooth lines, and ultra slim lamps keep one's attention once it does get noticed. Inside, the interior comes in different available trims. Its most striking feature is the gray tweed fabric used on the dash and elsewhere. It's unusual, subtle choice, and it really works. Once inside, the legs out driving position in front feels sporty, but rear seat passengers enjoy a footwells in the floor that corresponds to the recesses in the underfloor battery pack. The floor depression means rear seat riders aren't sitting legs up, as they do in top spec Air models with the highest capacity batteries, making long trips more comfortable here. When it comes to finding one pedal mode, Lucid CEO Peter Rawlings was the chief engineer on the Tesla Model S a decade ago. The cockpit blends echoes of Tesla in its large center screen with only a few hard controls for selected functions, being audio volume, ventilation. A small secondary screen for cabin controls can retract into the dash for a cleaner look. So here's the thing. The temptation for modern EV designers is to put as many controls as possible into the screen, reducing the number of mechanical switches, knobs, dials, and sliders that have to be engineered. So some people prefer one pedal driving mode while others hate it. So every time we went out to do a test drive, we had to find one pedal mode buried a couple screens down in the drive settings. But compared to something like a typical Model 3 to say, or even a Model S when it comes to Tesla, which a lot of people are used to, the thing that the Lucid Air is allowed to shine with is the use of 4 5K screens. So a lot of your settings that you would have to hunt and find your settings through within these different screens are available right there in a nice simplistic manner. You don't have to hunt and dig to try to find all your different settings, because once you understand the layout, it's quite similar to the layout of a normal car. Everything is easy to find. Once you start getting used to the vehicle, it's just like a regular vehicle. Instead of feeling like you're hunting through just one giant iPad and having to figure things out. So when they say that one of the previous main engineers of the Tesla Model S moved over to Lucid Air, you can truly see the way that you could take a Model S and just bump it up a few notches, because a lot of the things where Teslas are lacking in certain departments, this vehicle is allowed to shine, because this is an engineer's dream, because it doesn't just have a fancy screen and a fast motor. This vehicle is actually a driver's electric car, boasting a rack and pinion steering system, coilover suspension, as well as plenty other features that are meant to increase aerodynamics as well as downforce within the vehicle. So of course you get the typical things to be expected from an electrical vehicle, but you get a little bit more of an edge with this vehicle with the special hidden touches, special features, things that make this vehicle stand apart from the rest of the crowd. Thus, the Lucid Air Pure remains firmly in the upper tier of the luxury spectrum and expands the company's product offering only slightly. At the time when the entire market seems to want SUVs, the company's imperative is to get its second model, the Gravity electric SUV, into production as soon as possible. With Air sales lower than projected a few years ago, Lucid is now going back to the well to raise more capital. $3 billion, largely from Saudi Public Investment Fund. Somewhat ironic that oil-funded investment powerhouse now controls the majority of Lucid's shares. So without ranting too much, it's definitely an exceptional car. Now, whether it'll last the test of time, only time will tell.